Therapist, amputee specialist, and this is 30 Days Live for Limb Loss Awareness Month, and today is day 7. So guys, I know I give a lot of vocabulary lessons, but I think that's probably one of the bigger questions that I get from people who are not familiar with people with amputations and living with limb loss, and they hear a lot of this terminology and they're not sure what some of these words mean and how they're meant to be used. So we're going to throw a few more words at you today. So the first one that people usually kind of get a little confused on is, how do you refer to the remaining part of a person's leg after it's been amputated? Technically, you don't call it a leg anymore, although some of my patients will still refer to it as their leg. But in medical terms, we refer to a limb that's been amputated as the stump. And that's a terminology that's been used for several decades, and it's in our medical textbooks. Another term that's also used is residual limb. So these are two common terminologies that are used. And then some of my patients will refer to it as their leg. They've accepted that prosthesis as part of their human body, which is a great success. So that brings me to my next word, prosthesis, and how you use this particular word. What do you call the leg that someone uses in place of their anatomical leg? So we use the technical term prosthesis, but you may hear terms like robot leg or bionic leg. So the correct term is prosthesis, and prosthesis will cover all the different types of legs and also the arm devices that are used by amputees for mobility. Now, when my kids were really little and I was trying to explain to them what this was, and they were too young to be able to pronounce prosthesis, then I would kind of explain it to them in terms of kind of like having a robot leg, just so that they could understand it with their young minds. But as they got older, they learned how to pronounce the word prosthesis. Now, when it comes to bionic leg, okay, so only certain prosthetic devices would be classified as bionic. And these are the prosthetic devices. These are usually pretty sophisticated prosthetic devices. And these are ones that pick up muscle the EMG pulses from the muscles and then send that information into the computerized part of the prosthesis to tell the prosthesis to open and close or to move. So those are the higher end, more sophisticated technology, and that is what's considered to be a bionic arm or leg, okay? Now, moving along, what do you call someone who was born missing an arm or a leg? So, again, some of the more traditional terminology is to use the word congenital amputee. But now we're starting to see a lot of folks using the term born with a limb difference, because technically somebody who was born without an arm or a leg didn't have their arm or leg amputated. So you see, sometimes the terminology can be used back and forth. And then even in the person who received an amputation after they were born, they are technically referred to as an amputee, someone who's had a piece of their body amputated, whether it's an arm, a leg, or another body part. And some people will refer to themselves as living with limb loss. Okay, so again, herein lies the question: what terminology do you use? For me, when I talk to amputees or patients, I usually just try to feel what terminology they are most comfortable using. Some of my patients are very comfortable referring to the residual limb as their stump. Others do not like to use that terminology and they refer to it as their leg. So again, usually if I have any doubts, I just ask them, how do you refer to your remaining leg? And this is how all this vocabulary is kind of evolving, and we're learning more and more about it. So as Confucius would say, the beginning to wisdom is learning is the ability to call everything by their right name. All right, guys, if you have any more questions about what words mean and what terminology is being used in this particular population, feel free to put it in the comment section. I love answering these questions for you. All right, guys, that was day 7 for 30 Days Live for Limb Loss Awareness Month. I'll see you tomorrow for day 8. Have a great day.